Welcome to today's episode. Today I'd like us to take a hard look at the growing signs of lawlessness across South Africa and the widening gap between communities under siege and a government that it appears increasingly absent, in fact. The porous borders to organized crime, from the collapsing public safety to rising community tensions. The warning signs are no longer isolated incidents. They are part of dangerous national patterns. So today, those are some of the conversations I would like us to look at, because we are sitting on a time bomb. It's ticking, in fact. It's a matter of time. On a daily basis, since the beginning of 2026, we've seen how our borders remain porous, allowing unchecked movement of illicit goods, drugs, and criminals. Illicit cigarettes flooding our markets. Today or the day before, we've heard of one of the big companies that have been selling tobacco in this country are closing down. Drug dealers are operating openly in communities. Police go and shake hands and laugh and joke with drug dealers who are terrorizing the communities. We know that. Criminals will be arrested today, and tomorrow they are on the streets, or by the time the sun sets, they're on the street. And they return to the same communities and reoffend. For law-abiding citizens, justice feels delayed, diluted, and increasingly meaningless. Then we question ourselves when we start seeing communities take the law into their own hands. And unfortunately, we know when the communities choose to take the law into their own hands, mob justice, mistakes happen. Wrong people find themselves on the wrong side of such activism. Even our roads, we've seen on a daily basis. Lawlessness has become a routine. In the taxi industry, reckless driving, intimidation, and total disregard for traffic laws have become a daily experience. Taxi drivers frustrate and endanger other motorists because they know nothing will happen. There are no consequences whatsoever. Nothing. We'll hear Santaco coming in and saying one or two things, but same things happen every day. We don't see any progress or change. Communities are under siege, and we don't know where are the people that we have entrusted with safeguarding us. We might look at this at a micro level, but through instances like the July unrest, we can see at a broader spectrum, things can get out of hand easily. In fact, we are not safe. Nowhere is the failure of the states is more visible than in the Cape Flats, where decades-long drug and gang wars, they continue unchecked up until today, 2026. Some of us, when we grew up, we heard of a group called Pagad, and I think it has resurfaced. We were informed, because there are some of us who were not born in Cape Town, who've never stayed in Cape Town, but we were informed that those groups are trying to fight against drugs and gangsterism. A community choosing to take the law into their own hands to try and safeguard their communities. Once again, So entire generations have grown up knowing only violence, addiction, and fear. Kids have to drop out of school. On a daily basis, we hear of kids that are killed inside the schools because people were shooting each other in the streets of Cape Town. Now, it's no longer the Cape Flats. It has gone also into the townships across Cape Town. Killings, mass killings, in fact, are reported daily. And these are increasingly described by residents as slaughterhouse, places where life is cheap and safety is absent. Now, we've got a situation at Addington Primary School in Durban, rising tensions. That scene there has continued for days. The only thing that can be done by our government is to send the police. There's no conversation that they can engage the community and the people involved and try and arrest the situation through a conversation that different parties can come together and find each other at the table so that they can find lasting solutions to whatever issues that are they are facing. Because in most cases, when such things happen, there are misunderstandings. There are things that can be easily dealt. What we are witnessing is deeply concerning. There are ongoing standoff, rising emotions, and visible divisions between South African citizens and foreigners. It's not the first time. But every now and then, this keeps coming back. Right now, we've got March on March movement led by Ms. Jacinta Ngobese Zuma. They have mobilized crowds. There's a face-off between South Africans and foreigners. What is missing are the leaders that are entrusted in ensuring that they are able to handle such differences and come between those factions and bring everyone to the table. We have not seen or heard from the Department of Education, despite the fact that children are at the center of this crisis. Instead, they are writing tweets telling us that learning continues, kids are okay, but at the same time, they are telling us that they are arranging psychological assistance for those affected. Which one is which? The kids' safety, their education, and the future is at risk here. That's what is happening. It's not about who's right and wrong. This is about acknowledging that there is a serious issue threatening a community, and that silence from government only fuels fear, misinformation and escalation. Hence, this issue has gone on and on and on. We've seen this before. It's not new. I've said this. When disagreements between communities, especially between locals and foreign nationals, are ignored, they spread. Small sparks become uncontrollable fires. Leadership is supposed to intervene very early. Government is meant to mediate, to communicate, to provide timelines, reassurance, and authority. Instead, there is vacuum in South Africa. Police are just there to manage crowds, pepper spray, water tanks, and all those kinds of things. But leadership is nowhere to be found. Julius Malema once said, and in fact, he repeatedly said that and warned that where there is no leadership, we will find ourselves with a leaderless revolution. Of course, he was talking about poverty, inequality, and hopelessness. But we are hopeless right now. What we are looking at is a possibility of a revolt not organized by politicians, but born from desperation and hopelessness. Today, the 21st of January 2026, we are seeing how unrests begin. Small corners, local disputes, communities losing faith, government reacting only once things are already burning. There's an escalation, then they start coming in. Across the country, we've got Zamazamas operating with impunity. Communities being chased from their homes, sleeping in halls. Others have got their yards being dug. In the past few weeks, we saw big machinery in a community, and you ask yourself, how did that happen? Where were the local leaders, councillors, chiefs, police? You're telling me that those communities were not monitored by law agencies? Criminals act boldly without fear. Specialized law enforcement units exist, yet their success is invisible. That is why individuals like General Nkwanazi are celebrated, and they are seen as the hope that we've been longing for. They are seen as a savior. It tells you we are thirsty for a functioning South Africa. We've seen a number of instances where there are success stories, but those instances is where your Dr. Mgcini Mtwahu, Dr. Nasipi Moya, in their respective municipalities, are accompanying public servants who have a responsibility on a daily basis of taking care of these things. I wonder and ask myself, where are the stats? Where are the statistics? If we're talking about hijacked buildings in a certain municipality, where are the stats? Where are progress reports? Where are the success stories? Not only when we see a politician going to a certain building or a celebrity like DJ Waras, may his soul rest in peace, being murdered. Where is the long-term impact? We are not stupid. We know that publicity is not governance. We want results, not photo opportunities. South Africa is slowly degenerating, and it is happening in full view. Drug dealers are known, criminals are visible, communities are afraid, and hope is thinning. The Addington Primary School situation, not an isolated problem. It is a symptom of a nation where leadership arrives late or not at all. We can only hope that government we elect will recognize the urgency of this movement, of this moment, strengthen its institutions, place capable individuals in the right position, and be proactive, not reactive. What's the use of having institutions that are gathering information? Citizens are losing faith. And when citizens lose faith completely, history shows us what follows. And we do not want that. Thank you so much for watching. Join us this weekend as we dissect more of the critical issues shaping South Africa today. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Till next time, adios.